All right, I think we are recording. Yeah, okay, we're recording. I'm going to go over some new ways to kind of look at these. And we're talking about high conviction alerts or CA bot alerts. So, of course, that's these channels right here. We're doing a test with MoniX, trying to see if we can get 3 follows. And it's working so far. This is just a test channel, by the way, so don't go looking for it. But once we get it working right, we're going to incorporate this into CA Alert Bot. And yeah, we'll see how it works. I think it's going to work really well because it'll go along with multiple smart money wallets joining and having Smart Alpha, X Smart Alpha for Moni also joining in. So this will kind of be like a socials plus smart money bot. And then this high conviction, of course, is multiple smart money wallets only. And then we know that it's a good signal and it has a chance to be a good play. So let's look at some of these that did show up this morning, and I'm going to continue to just kind of teach you the methods that I use. And the most important of all of these methods is that, well, the important feature is that it keeps you out of bad trades, right? So we've already talked about it many times. You always need to be looking at your MACD when you first look at a token and get in a token. So number one, even if you're looking at an older token like LLM that's been around for 31 days, if we scroll back here, it's been around for a long time and it's finally breaking out again. I did make this a call in, where is it at? Here it is. So this is Rodstrom Bikes, Soul Train. This is a thread, so you have to join it. It's right below DGen chat. But up here, I talked about LLM, and we've been posting many plays actually. So keep an eye on that. I know not all of you are able to keep an eye on DGen chat throughout the day. So, even though these plays, a lot of them are going to be time sensitive and you have to get into them pretty quick. If you go on here and you look at something like LLM and it hasn't moved much, then, just check and see what the notes say. And, it might still be a good play that you can jump into even though you're, busy throughout the day. But for the most part, for people that are busy all the time, you're generally going to want to stick to the long-term plays channel that has all of our charts and everything and all of our targets. You can click on any of those links. So anyway, okay, so yeah, just make sure you join this thread for this because there are some pretty good plays in here. Okay, so let's go through some of the high conviction plays. I've already got some of them pulled up here. Pareto is one I think is very interesting. It is I'm not going to go too much through what these things do, but this one just seems like an interesting one. You can turn your group chat banter, which is Telegram or Discord, into a friendly wager. And they gave an example down here, talking about Arsenal winning the Champions League or Premier League. I don't know exactly what it is, but soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. Or talking about Bitcoin, and then people can wager, do friendly wagers on things like this. Just makes the chat more fun. So Pareto, this is one method I want to teach you. Well, number one, let's look at MACD, because we always want to look at that first. So the alert came in right here. I'll just mark it. So the alert came in right here, which was the very top. Now, of course, I'm on the 5-minute chart. I mean, you'd want to be looking at the 1-minute chart if you just started playing this token. And then go to 5-minute later once there's enough history in the coin. So, maybe you did jump in here, but the good news is that it got you right out, immediately. So let's say you were even a little bit late here and you exited because you saw that MACD was turning down. So the idea is that as long as MACD is trending up and the blue line is above the orange line, you can stay in the trade on the 1-minute chart. But if it was to turn down, then that would be the signal to get out. And so, yeah, you would have made a little bit of a loss here. But the main thing is, that's like a 10% loss, 15%. But the main thing is you saved all of this. It's just like Engineering Robo, right? Engineering Robo gives you a buy and sell signal, and you know whether to stay in or out of that project. And so that's all we're looking at here on the short term. These are brand new tokens, so you have to use the 1-minute chart at first, and then later on switch over to the 5-minute chart. And you can see the 5-minute chart lagged some. It gave the same down signal. But going back to the 1-minute chart, another thing I want to point out is that the midline here, which is the line that separates the green candles, the histogram candles, and the red ones on the MACD, this is your bullish and bearish area. So if it's above, if the candles are green, that's bullish. And if it's below here where the candles are red, that's bearish. But the point I want to make here is, and I've talked about this before, but I want to drive it home. If both of these lines are above this midline here, which is separating these two colors, if both lines are above that area, then that means that the token is really bullish at the time. And if it's below, then it's really bearish at the time. And I'll show you on the chart what I mean by that. Notice how there was a big pump right here. Notice how when these two lines crossed above that midline right there, the first line crossed about right there, maybe a little bit more. So it had a big move as soon as it crossed above, and then it had a big move as soon as it crossed down right here. So, you know, when the two lines start to cross below that line, it just means that there's further downside. Now, you definitely could have bought here for sure, but just understand that price can go sideways longer. And you're seeing it again here, like we drag this all the way here. And this just further shows you could have got out way up here actually. But this just continues to show you that the lines are crossing down. You know, it's in a very bearish zone, and maybe this isn't one you want to be interested in right now. And that's why I've got this line down here. And let me show you how I came up with that line, because this is something new I haven't showed you yet. So when you feel like the top is in, you know, some of these have a really aggressive move to the upside. And if you see something that goes up to like 5 million, 3 million, something like that, then there's a really good chance that it could, you know, at some point recover over here somewhere and have another big move, maybe even to like 10, 15 million eventually. So we want to try to buy the dip, right? I mean, for me, I've talked about it a lot. It's very important for me to buy cheaply. I don't want to be buying up here where it's a premium. I want to buy it down here where it's a discount. So what you'd want to do is grab your fib line. It's called the fib retracement here on the left. Go from the very bottom right here when the token was first created, and then drag to the very top if you feel like the top is in. And sometimes you don't know right away, but here's what we're looking at. What we want to see, if we feel like that 5-wave top is in, you know, Elliott wave, 5-wave top, then we want to see a touch of the 786. So this one did come up, and that's why I'm not sure if it's going to touch it again, but it's getting close. So just be patient with this. You know, if you feel like the top's in, take your fib line, and I'll draw it again so you can see how I do it. Just take the tool, click once at the bottom. You can drag it out as far as you want to, but what I'm doing is I'm making it level with the very top of this wick, and then I'm just clicking one more time right here. And now we've got our 786 line, and that's exactly where I have this purple line right here. So if this was to touch again, I'd probably be interested in buying it, assuming, of course, that there were still a decent amount of smart money wallets in. And I think that that's the case still. Let's see. I mean, you may have to check Nansen, or it really is helpful to have Nansen, you know, if you have the money to swing it, because you can check this stuff anytime. But, you know, people in chat will help you if they see your message. But just click here on smart money with Nansen. Yeah, there's still plenty of smart money in it, so we're fine. So I don't know. I mean, this could be a higher low. Maybe there's a trend line starting to form here, and this holds. You know, it's up to you whether you want to take a chance there, but there is still a chance it could touch the bullish line or the 786 line here on the fib. Could even dip a little bit under it. You know, that does happen sometimes. So just remember this. We're going to use this going forward. But again, you know, use your MACD in conjunction with this. As price comes down, let's say we were looking at this. Let's say we were just looking at this right here, and I was waiting for it to touch the 0.786 line right here at 1.1 million. And remember, that's another thing. Remember, we've talked about it before. If it breaks 1 million, usually if it has a pretty good move, 1 million is going to be the support or close to it. And that's exactly what happened here. So not only is 1 million a resistance area as tokens start to move up, new ones, it's also support if it breaks through them. So you had one kind of a fake out cross up here, and then finally you got your real cross up. And this happened very close to the support area. So that's usually what I look for, is I want to see some kind of cross happening near my support. If you see was a really good signal too. If you see like and this is more advanced, but if you see a higher hill here on the red histogram on MACD, and then it creates a lower one right there, it doesn't matter if it happens up here or down here. This is a bullish signal. So as price comes down, you've got momentum coming back in on the MACD, and this was a perfect signal. Had I been watching it, I would have posted it. But the problem is, we didn't get this signal until over here, so I didn't see this one. So here's what I'm saying. You've got a big hill, and then you've got a smaller hill. And that means that is a higher low on the histogram for MACD. While price was coming down, that's a bullish divergence. Here is a bearish divergence. Notice you had lower highs here forming. So if you see something like that on the 1 minute chart, sometimes that can indicate that as price is going up, momentum's coming out, that's a bearish divergence. So there's two really good examples that you can use where this found the bottom perfectly, this found the top perfectly, and you kind of got a confirmation here as well with your cross down, and you got a confirmation here with your cross up. So this was a buy signal, that was a sell signal. Okay, let me just check. I don't even know if anybody's in here listening to this. Yeah, we got a couple of people. Okay, let me just check, see if there's any chat. Okay, so I think, let's just see what this one's doing. Yeah, I mean, I would be very interested in this one if it came down to the bullish above line at 1.1. But if you believe in this project and you think it has some legs, if you think it's something that people could get excited about, which I could see it, then maybe you just want to go ahead and take this position because it did technically touch the 786 already. So I really don't know. I mean, I would say if it can get some candles closing back above, what is that line? 2.1 million or 2 million, somewhere in there, then it might be ready to go. Let's see what the 5 minute looks like. Always go up to the higher time frame. Go up to that higher time frame and see what you see. I mean, see right here, we just talked about this. So on the 5 minute, there's your bearish divergence. Although remember, the higher you go, the more price can lag. It may not give you a signal right away. Now this could be, I can't really tell yet, but this could be a bullish signal. There's just not enough information yet. So what we would do, I mean, really when you go into higher time frames, what you're trying to achieve here is you want to see if you can get just a feel for the trend. And it's pretty clear that this is a downtrend, right? I mean, we've got a clear trend that's curling down as far as the lines. So you're looking for that trend to break at some point if you want to be safe. And what would a trend break look like? Well, it would look like these lines starting to turn back up like this. That wasn't a very good way to do it, was it? Let's see. The fast line is the blue line. So you would see something like this. It's hard to see that orange line, I know, but the orange line would keep slowly starting to curl while the faster blue line would curl up. And then once you got that signal, you would feel pretty good that, maybe the trend is flipping back bullish. So just understand that on this, on the 1 minute chart, it can chop you a lot. It can chop up and down. It's kind of hard to read these signals sometimes. So that's why it's good to go to the 5 minute. And then eventually you want to go to the 15 minute if you're holding longer. But see how the MACD is not showing up yet. So just keep checking it, maybe every few hours or whatever, and it eventually shows up. You can use the Bollinger Band. We've talked about that before. I'm not a huge fan of the Bollinger Band over the MACD, but it does work. It's just that, see, it gives you a lot of fake in, fake out signals, even on the 5 minute here. It is starting to show up on the 15-minute though, so that's what I'm talking about. We don't have MACD yet, but we got Bollinger Band. So what you're looking for currently is that, we just talked about it, right? 2.1, 2.2 million. Once it gets above that area, it's bullish again. So it's interesting how that all came together, right? We finally looked at the Bollinger Band and it worked out on the higher time frame. So let me show you on LLM real quick. Well, actually, no, I don't want to show you that one. Let me show you on Pythia. Yeah, I already had it up. So on the, is it the 5-minute? Might be the 15. No, it might be the 5-minute. Okay, here we go. So if we're just talking about Bollinger Band, look how well this does at keeping you in a long trade. This is where it's useful. So this thing finally started turning up after a very long sideways. And this is exactly what I think LLM is doing, by the way. But of course, there's no guarantees in any of this stuff. I'm just hoping that's what's happening. So notice how it never got below the midline there, all the way up. This was like a 65x move. And I'm not saying LLM is going to do that. I'm just saying, you know, it seems like it's curling up to me. So you could have used Bollinger Bands here on the 5-minute, is that right? Yeah. And actually Dev sold right there. That's interesting. Okay. So let's go back to LLM, 5-minute. So currently it's still kind of, why is it showing that? Let me see if 15-minute shows us something better. Yeah, I mean, it's really strange how it works. Like, you can look back at a chart that's already done its move on a 5-minute and it'll give you a really clear view. But for whatever reason, when the price action's actually happening, the chart's not as clear. I mean, we're still seeing, you know, pumps, dips, pump, dip, but overall it's higher lows, right? Higher lows, higher highs. So I think once this one breaks above like 1.3 million for good, and it is curling up here, that it'll be ready to go. I guess you'd have to go to an hour on this one just to be able to see. So it is above the Bollinger Band for now anyway. Okay. So yeah, Pareto, we don't really have a clear move just yet. We're looking at Pareto, Frank. You can go back and watch the video here in a minute when I post it. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing this, but I will show you on another one here real quick what I was talking about. Let's see, is this Matt? Yeah, this isn't a very good token, actually. Okay, this is another one that Rod, I think Rod likes this one. He was talking about it earlier. It's really choppy price action, though. It's a little bit tougher to read. Let me just look at something here. Okay, yeah, I mean, this one may be okay. So it hasn't touched the 786 yet. Let me show you how I come about finding where these areas of bounce, where it could bounce at are. And I'll just show the chart to begin with here. So what you want to do, grab the fib on your left here, fib retracement. Find where it first launched, which that's pretty close. And then you're going up to the very top. If you feel like this is the top here, and then drag it out, and then try to get this. So you're just clicking once at the bottom, clicking once at the top, but you're dragging it out to the right before you click the top. And what I'm looking for is a retrace back to the 786 level. Now, if it's a very strong token, it is possible that it could front run the 786. But even in this case, what you want to look for is this. This does a very good job of showing you where the bullish line is. So this has fallen below the 618 line right here at 4 million. We're hoping to see a bounce. We're hoping to get a really good entry here, somewhere around 2.2 million. But even if that doesn't happen, you just take the 618 line up here, and you can put a line or whatever and just say bullish above. And so that if you get a 1 minute, well, you probably want to wait on a 5-minute candle to close above here. But if you do get a close like that, then it's probably ready to move up again. But what you can do is, of course, combine your MACD analysis in with it. This is just sideways action. I mean, there's not really anything you can determine here just yet. If you go up to the 5-minute, which you should always do, try to go to a higher time frame, and it gives you a better idea what the trend is. And even here, it's pretty much sideways. But we did have a downtrend, and now we're getting some sideways consolidation. So as soon as we start to see this curl up, I don't think there's enough information there yet. I mean, it's possible that we have a higher low right there with the MACD on these two red candle areas, the histogram. But clearly it's bearish, right? Because it's below the midline of the MACD. So both lines are below the midline. So we're currently bearish. This can fake you out a lot. So you need to have areas where you're like, okay, here's my support. This is my bullish line. Where am I willing to let this trade go? Well, that's a little bit tougher because it could actually dip under the 786 temporarily. I've seen it before. Let me see if I can find you an example. What was Seeker one yesterday? I'm just looking on my other screen here. Okay, Seeker. No, Seeker touched it perfectly, actually. One of these yesterday did this, and I'm trying to find, what was that one? Here's Seeker. Here's what I'm looking at. So just going back to the price action. So if you, again, if you do your fibs, this is another method that I haven't really showed before. Drag it to the top. Whoops. Bottom to top. Touch the 786 perfectly. And then just mostly went sideways after that, and then finally broke out. But again, notice, there's some things to notice here. We're calling this our support at 786. This is where I want to buy if I can. And we're calling this our bullish line at the 618. And you're going to notice something right away, that it held this line before the big pump. I mean, yeah, it dipped a little bit under it, but for the most part, it held it. So these are higher lows. You're creating a higher low on a higher time frame. This triangled out, it did lower highs at the same time. But anytime you see a triangle, it's a very powerful move, usually. So, watch for these triangles, especially if it's going to hold your bullish line there. MACD, you had a really strong cross up there. Yeah, you had a signal. I mean, there was a clear signal, at least at this candle. You had a clear signal that things were turning up. You could have gotten in before the pump. But of course, you have to be watching these in real time to really see this. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to think of what else to tell you here. There's a video I want to do about how to strategize for longer term plays, and I'll check your questions here in a minute if you have any questions. Strategizing for a long-term play. What was that? Was that a cow? Sorry. Oh, you eating a hamburger? Oh. Okay, well, let's talk just very briefly, and really I want to do a whole video series, not series, but just a quick video about this. But let's say that you just want to hold long term, and you're not worried about price action like this. How long did this take? What day was the second? Okay, so this took about a day, we'll call it, and maybe you bought somewhere in here. I mean, look how scary this is. I mean, this is not so bad, but look how scary this is as things go up. You're getting chopped. Maybe this right here is back about where you entered, and now you're thinking, oh man, this is gonna, if I don't have these lines here, this could just fall out the bottom and I'm gonna get out. They use your emotions against you. And here especially, it fell back below your bullish line. You probably would have exited here, right? So if you're willing to be patient, you can make some pretty big gains. It just depends on what type of trader you are. I mean, I'm the type that if I see a big pump back up kind of near the top that it had before, then I'm going to take some profits and I'll try to buy back in later if I can remember to, but I forget a lot. That's just the type of trader I am. I don't want to waste an opportunity to sell a top, But if you're somebody that's busy and you just want to hold for a while and you bought somewhere down here, then you can't set a stop loss, number one. If you set a stop loss, and this thing drops below your entry by 30% or so, then you're out, and then you miss the big pump. And they'll do that. They'll drop it right before the pump. It always happens. What else do I want to tell you? So, you can enter with a smaller amount on all of these. Maybe, let's just see is there one that's popped up recently? Probably not, because we're trying to record it at the same time. 154, well, this isn't a great example, but let's just bring up a brand new one. So this is the newest one in high conviction. And let's just see if it hit the 786. Okay, it dipped a little bit under it. So, this could indicate, let's see, yeah, okay. So see, this one didn't even make it to 1 million on the first push. So I consider this a very weak token. And I usually don't even put Bollinger Bands up there unless I'm looking at higher time frames. I mean, you could still watch MACD, maybe it does turn up, but to me, this isn't a very good move, and it's under the 786. So, if I see something like a 3 million, 5 million move, and then it comes down and holds 786, or maybe just dips a little bit under it, then I'd be much more interested. But it's clear that this one didn't have much power on the first move. So, pay attention to this in the future. If you don't get one at least over 1 million, there's a chance it won't be very powerful. It won't have another big move in it. Again, make sure you're checking your Twitter and, checking things like that as well, your TrenchBot. It's easy to forget to do things like that. I don't remember what I was going to show here. I guess I was going to talk about holding long term. So let's just say, I think I'll just have to use this as an example. Or maybe I should find one. Let me see if there's one here that had a big move out of the gate. That one looks ugly. And I'm going to wrap up with this. I don't want to make this too long. No, that's 1 million. I may have to go back and use the one we were looking at. Is this an old one? Oh, okay, this one's 38 days old. It's not worth looking at. So let's just go back to this one then. Is it Pareto? Yeah. So Pareto, it hit 5.2 million, which is good. We want to see that. And then we pull our fibs. And then, we have our bullish, I put that in the wrong spot, didn't I? We have our bullish above line here, and then we have our support line. It did touch the support line, and it could touch it again, but just mostly sideways is all we're doing here. If you bought anywhere in this area, anywhere in this box, expecting that it's going to go higher, that's fine. But what you're doing for the long-term holds is, again, no stop loss. Maybe you just put a little bit in here. Maybe you don't want to go heavy. But what you're doing is you're holding for multiple days, right? And there are going to be some that just dump on you. It's going to happen where all of the smart money that jumped into it just decides to get out. And it's going to happen. Sometimes you just got to be okay with that. But you're also going to have some really big moves out of these as well. Maybe you'll get a 10x, 50x, whatever. We do see a lot of 10x's, right? So, I feel pretty confident you'll see at least one of those within, like say if you use the strategy within the next week, you'll at least see something like that, I would think. But the 50x, 100x, 200x, those are a lot less frequent. So, don't expect those to happen very often. So this one, this is your accumulation zone basically, but I would try to stick around the 786 line. Again, this one did wick right down into it. Let's see how many minutes it actually stayed in that area. It wasn't long. You would have only had like a 2-minute window to be able to buy that very bottom. So maybe that shows strength, but what you want to do on this one, it is above the bullish line currently. You could take a position here just like we do with our long-term alts. You could take a position and say, okay, as long as it holds that bullish line, I'm just going to stay in it. And I'm just talking about temporarily. You're just trying to see if it's actually going to hold this temporarily. And then if it gets back down below, then you're going to expect that, well, it could touch the support one more time. But these are hard to read. I mean, if they're just going sideways, your MACD is not going to help you that much, unless you see something like a bullish divergence or bearish divergence. If you see these, like a high or low in the histogram like this, where I have the line, So that indicated that a pump was coming. Or if you see lower highs coming in on the histogram on the upside, prices coming up, lower highs on the histogram, that means there's about to be a dump. I don't really see, I mean, it looks like it might be curling over here, but usually when you have a move where it came all the way off this bottom and then it sits up here and then it just kind of curls right back up off the midline. So this could indicate that yes, it's going to hold this bullish line. There's just no clear direction just yet. And you'd have to wait to see if this curled over or if it held. I mean, I admit in real time it's really hard to tell and stuff like that. But just, you know, jump around to your different time frames, look at things from a different angle. I mean, technically this is a lower high from this one. So if you're creating lower highs on market structure, you have to see some kind of higher high, higher low combination before you start to feel better about it. So this is a lower low from this one. This is a lower high from this one. You'd have to see something like this to start feeling more confident about it. All right, let's check questions. How would you manage those plays over the course of a day or two? Live keeps X out away from staring at the chart all day. Oh, live, yeah. How do you make sure you stay on top of price movement, manage selling with stop loss on trading bots? Yeah, I mean, if you're holding long term, you just have to be okay with, I mean, look right there. That's kind of what I was saying, is that there's no guarantee that this thing's ready because this is a lower high technically. So market structure is important. You know, when I say market structure, higher lows, higher highs, this is an uptrend. You don't want to be in something that has lower highs, lower lows. Hang on one second, I got a phone call, which is bad timing. 1 second. Hey.
I was trying to find out if Mom needs me to go to the grocery store or if she's got dinner figured out already.
Okay, I'll check with her in a second. I'm finishing up a video.
I'm past HEB now.
Okay, let me find out. Mom? Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows. You know, you don't want to see a downtrend, you want to see an uptrend. But on the flip side, we want to be buying, you know, as this thing's coming down. We don't want to buy as it's going up usually. But that's the tougher thing to do, right? I mean, everybody wants a discount. This is very important to me, to be buying near support. I don't want to be buying way up here where, you know, a lot of retail is jumping in. I want to buy where smart money's buying. And we are smart money, I'm telling you right now. You know, the things that we talk about here, these are the same principles that smart money uses. So if you learn them, then you become smart money. And maybe some of you are already. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, we've got plenty of good traders in here. So let's see, what did I want to say? I am unmuted, right? Yeah, okay. So we were talking about how do you track price movement as a long-term holder with a meme or with a higher risk play. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I know that it weighs on you throughout the day. Maybe you're working or maybe you're sleeping and you're concerned that the play is not going to work out for you or something. You just have to have faith that because of the high conviction plays, we have many smart money in it. You have to have faith that if you get a good position here, you know, a good low position, like I'm hoping this comes back down to support so we get a better spot to buy it. So number one, if you see one that has really nice power out of the first pump, which I don't care if I get in this pump or not, I'm okay with waiting, you know, for this dip. I actually want to buy the dip. Because I can't really read this first pump very well, but I can read the dip a lot better. And so number one, you want to buy cheap. That's the first step on any of these long-term plays. So wait for the dip to get near 786, and you know, hopefully this is a good buy for you. It could dip a little bit under. I've seen many of them do it, and then they still take off and have a big run. But stop loss is a no-no in this case, because let's say, well, I take that back. Let's say that you have a really good position. Let's say that you bought at 786 Let's just see what would happen here. If you had a 50% stop loss, yeah, 50% stop loss may be okay, but that's only if you had a really good entry at 786. For me, I'd rather just not have a stop loss at all, because if you get something like, what was that one that I was just talking about, Pythia? Let's just see what would have happened with Pythia, because that's a really good, it's a really good case study on what would have happened. What happened with, oh yeah, it did that, okay. So the first, it actually had a first pump. That was in the first day, and then it had a bigger pump. So if we just take it from the very bottom to that high, yeah, it got well into the 786. So had you had a, yeah, 50% would have wiped you out, or stopped you out. You would have to have a 70%, I think. I think that's right. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, see, stop losses just don't work. And I'm not saying every token's going to do this. Usually if a token stays below the 786 like this for a while, it's done. They just fade into obscurity. But I will say, as long as a token holds 100K, somewhere between 100K to 200K market cap, they do tend to recover at some point. But how long was this? Oh, this wasn't too long the way it was it. This was just a couple of days to get your really big pump out of it. I mean, these are harder to predict. I'm just talking about stop losses here. This looked really weak at the time because it couldn't get back above the 786. There's no way you could have predicted that was going to happen from looking at this chart. Somebody would have said, there's no way I'm staying in this play. So it really just depends on how long you're willing to hold. But if you're looking at these things in real time, like maybe you entered back here and then you checking it the next day after a big pump and you didn't sell, came all the way back down. I mean, I don't know how you would have reacted, but I mean, for me personally, I may have just decided just to hold it out of spite, just like I'm holding this until it moves back up. But that's how bag holders are created, right? I mean, imagine how many people bought this pump thinking that it was just going to continue. This is the wrong way to approach trading. If you get a big pump out of something, you should have been in here, number one. But if you see a big pump out of something, just wait. Wait for this pullback and get a better price for yourself. And then, even if it does fail, you're really not out that much, if you do decide to let the trade go. Whereas if you got in up here, you basically lost all your money. So that's why I don't chase green candles. And I really don't know if that answers the question for you. I realize just trading in real time in general is tough. It's going to be hard for you. So really what you have to do is decide if you're a patient person or if you're an impatient person. And if you're patient and you're willing to hold for a couple of days, and we talk about getting a good buy here somewhere, or if price closes back above the bullish line, go ahead and take a position, but really waiting for the better price and being okay if you miss it just to move on to the next play. That's fine. So that's what a patient person would do, is they would wait for this or this, getting back up here. And then if they wanted to hold long term, they would just hold it and be okay with these ups and downs. But as far as what to check throughout the day, you have to go to a higher time frame, because you don't want to get chopped up as a long-term holder looking at the 1 minute chart. This is emotional. They use all this against you. Up, down, up, down, up, down. They want you to sell. They want you to sell low. They want you to buy high. So, at least look at the 5 minute, see what MACD is doing. Move up to the 15 minute as soon as something shows up here, which it may be the Bollinger Band by now. Yeah, we talked about that just a minute ago. It is still under the midline of the Bollinger Band. So, yeah, just do your best with it. It takes practice. But if you're an impatient person like I am sometimes, then you're probably trading these quick trades a lot more. And even here, we had a set, well, it didn't touch it perfectly, did it? See, that front ran the 786, and sometimes that indicates, and you know, this kind of looks like what's happening with, let's look at this. So breakdown, so you had a big dip before a pump, and it held the 618. Is this what Pareto is? What is it called? Pareto? Is that what it's doing? Not really. Kind of the same thing, but not really. Yeah, this one tested the highs multiple times and then broke down one more time and then took off. But notice how it came close to the 786 is the point. This would have been a better place to buy both times right in here. I'm surprised it didn't touch, but that would tell you that this is very strong. Unless I didn't get this perfect. Let's see. No, it front ran it. It didn't get all the way down to the 786. Yeah, I'm not saying every one of them's going to act that way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I would have your auto sell set, because a lot of times this stuff is going to wick up. Look how much this wicked up over these candle bodies on the 5-minute chart. And if you have your auto sell set, I don't know what this one did from here. So that was about a 10x, 11x, something like that. So, you know, having those auto sell areas that you're hopeful that it hits is very important. Because if, like you said, if you're a busy person and you're not around all the time, you know, maybe this hits while you're busy, and then if you don't have something set up on your Telegram, you know, your bot, which I use TradeWiz, I'll put it in the description after I upload the video. But you know, I have like a 10x level set, 20x, 40x, 100x, just in case, you know, it just goes crazy one day. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I'm trying to think how to explain this. It's a psychological game in a way, because, you know, you got people that are buying here at the very bottom, or even some people down here. So everybody's entry is a little bit different. You know, you got some people that are buying before it even graduates to radium. And, you know, what is a 10x to them? Well, their 10x may be where you're first entering. So their 10x is somewhere in here at, you know, 500K market cap. So everybody has a different level of entry, and that's why you see these big wicks up to the top, is because they have these auto sell areas set, and this is where they want to take a lot of profit. So, you know, just find what those levels are for you and go ahead and set your bot up that way. But as far as mentally handling it, I mean, obviously, if you got a huge candle like this, it makes it a lot easier, right? I mean, you wait until a lot of the buy pressure starts to fade, you know, kind of with this first candle here, the first red candle. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. In the moment, it's tough. You really just have to eliminate as many emotions as you can. And the way that you do that is setting up that bot to where you have your sell signal, or your sell levels already set. And then, you know, have certain areas, like if you're watching the trade in real time, like say if we're looking at something like this, have these areas already labeled. This is a really good question, because I forget to mention things like this. So as price is going up, we're looking at the 5-minute, so we'll just use the candle bodies here. But as price is going up, there's going to be levels where price could revisit. And then as price is going down, there's going to be levels where prices could revisit. So this is what we call a channel. And I know a lot of you know what a channel is, but a channel could go up. Channel could be this way during an uptrend and it bounces off, those areas. Channel could be down. Of course, this one here I would only do if I was shorting the market, so it's not as important. But if we're in an uptrend or if we're in a sideways trend, you actually want to take advantage of these bounces as much as you can. There's different ways you can do it. Drawing lines on a chart. You can use Bollinger Bands. You can use MACD. Well, MACD is a little bit tougher to use in this case, but if we were to put a Bollinger Band on this, we'd probably have to go down to a lower time frame. I'm not saying it's easy, but this is, another method you want to consider in the future, or just something maybe you want to play around with. Where did this start at? Here it is. So it's a little bit tougher with Bollinger Band because you don't know that it's going to keep, extending, if it's going to keep going up or it's going to turn over. But if you have lines set like this, it does help because you can see, okay, I hit my line and then Bollinger Band broke down, so maybe that was the top, or here's my line, it broke above the Bollinger Band, maybe that's the bottom. So, there's tools that you can use to help yourself like that. But in general, if you can find these levels, and we're just going to call this, this is the premium area, or what's another word for it? Overvalued. So we're overvalued in this area, and then we're discount undervalued in this area. And I'm talking about these, the range. We'll call this a range. So it's bouncing up and down in this area. And I've done this many times where I have these lines already set. And, I'll buy here, I'll sell there. And I did this on a 5-minute chart, actually. So, I went down to a 1-minute chart there for a second. But I actually set these lines. Which one? Oh, yeah, let me get rid of this one. I wasn't using that one. I actually set these lines based on the candle bodies from the 5-minute chart. So candle body, candle body. Now, you probably wouldn't have known that these were your levels, especially this one. You wouldn't have known that was the top until later. You could have found this bottom, though, with that fib line that we were talking about. So if you had drawn your fibs there, it almost hit the 786. Well, no, I'll take that back. That's wrong. How would you have found this in real time? Well, your 618 was pretty close to it, but it wasn't exact. But yeah, see how the wick came down? It almost hit the 786. Usually it's not going to front run it like that. Usually you are going to get a move, maybe even a little bit below it, and then it hugs it for a while and then takes off. I know there's a lot of concepts we're talking about here, and it's probably very confusing for some people that have never seen it before. But you could put this line here as well instead of this one. It's just that you're going to miss some of the bounces. So that's why on the 5-minute chart I just took the candle body. So maybe you didn't know these two levels at first, but now you do. And this one did front run it. So maybe you didn't take that one, but you did take this one, and you got in right before the pump. I mean, this is just talking about like things that are undervalued, overvalued for the most part. I'm never buying up here. I only want to buy down here if I can. I don't want to chase green candles. Can you do a live high conviction? Yeah, I tried to do one. Let's just see if there's another one here. Okay, waveform just showed up at, what time is it? 7 minutes ago, okay. Actually, is this the first, hang on, I gotta make sure of something here. I have to see if this one ever showed up before. Okay, it is a new one. Okay, live high conviction play, here we go. This one is 7 minutes old as far as our alert goes. So this may be our high here. Let's go ahead and do this. One of the first things you can do is this. And I'm just dragging to the very top, from bottom to the top. it did touch the 786. So where did our alert come in at? This was 231. 231 is here somewhere. Okay. So in this case, just like we were talking about before, if you want to use this as your, you could even use this 236 line because it's right there near it. And we'll use a 786 as our base. And then our 618 will be our bullish above. So support is the 786 from the very top here. Here's your bullish line. And then this we'll just call, I don't know, overvalued. So, just disregard the bullish line for a minute. If we're trading this up and down until it finally breaks out, then we sell up here, we buy down here, or, buy somewhere near the support. Maybe it does front run it. It didn't in this case though. So we can get rid of the fibs after we do that because now we've got our lines. What else? Oh yeah, we always want to look at MACD. So when this alert first showed up, you have to make your MACD a little bit bigger. There was a curl up right there on your MACD. And then you cross down right here. So even if you just wanted to take a short trade, not a short trade, but a quick trade, you would have gotten in somewhere there and out right in there somewhere. So you would have made about 25% so far. What you can do is once it gets above the bullish line, now this becomes your support. And this becomes your secondary support. What else do I want to tell you? Always go to the next level. Let's see, what are we on? Why is there a 30-second chart? I should have been looking at the 1 minute. Okay, so we're looking at the 1 minute now. It's really hard to tell what it's doing. It's mostly sideways on the MACD. But again, it's above the midline of the MACD, so currently it's technically bullish overall. Does 5 minutes show us anything? If you want to consider this like volume or momentum, then technically, momentum is coming out of it on the 15 minute, but the two lines are trending up overall. So, it could keep moving. There was a wick down. Well, there you go. It actually got below the bullish line there. But what you want to see, of course, is higher highs. Higher lows here. It's kind of breaking below that now. It may be coming back down to support here. But, the thing I didn't do that I should have is go to the Twitter account. Suspended doesn't necessarily mean anything. The price can still move if our smart money are in. So we definitely have to take a look. I'm pretty sure they would be in if our alert signaled it. We want to see 5 to 10 smart money at least. So I'll paste it into Nansen here. I'll go to smart money and I'll see, yeah, there's still a ton of them in here. So I do think this one has the momentum overall to keep moving. The only question the only answer we don't know right now, and this does look to be trending down to me. Look how overall this is a downtrend pretty much. But it is holding bullish line still. So had you gotten into this one? Yeah, there you go. That's, I completely forgot to check that. So again, for anybody watching, and thank you for bringing that up, there's a convenient link right here on each alert. Just click TrenchBot. And then what we're looking at is 16 total bundles, 68 total souls spent. They hold 21% of the amount that they bought. Let's see, bundle total 63%. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, yeah. So they'll do that a lot, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because they will do that a lot where even though they'll mostly stay in the play, there'll still be like 10 wallets staying in. If they're taking profits, they'll take it at certain levels just to shake people out, and then they'll jump back in, or maybe they'll bring in a different wallet, a different smart money wallet. So these groups kind of work together, is my point. So yeah, in this case, if it was to get back up here near the overvalued area, you may want to take profits, if you're a short-term trader. If you like the project and you bought somewhere down here, then you'd probably just want to hold it. How low did that get? 1.4 million. So this kind of goes along with our idea that if price pumps above 1 million, generally the support line that it won't get back below is around 1 million. So it got back down to 1.4, it wicked right to it. I don't know how you would have found that wick though. I don't think you could have. Yeah, I don't really think it would have been possible. So sometimes this will happen, it'll drop under the 786, under the support line, and then it'll get back above it. So just always use, like say if you were looking at this and you knew that this was your support line because of the fib line, like right here. So here's your 786 line. If it dips below it, just wait for it to get back above it. Because let's say that this just kept going down and it was a failed project. Well, you saved yourself a lot of money that way. And again, MACD was actually trending down at the time. Now this would only be the case where an alert came in while this was going up, or if we got an alert in here somewhere, you would have seen that it was curling down still. But our alert actually came in right here, and it did curl up shortly after. I guess GMGN added a 15-second chart. I'm surprised about that, but that does help you. I mean, normally I wouldn't trade on a very low time frame like this, but when a token's brand new, we have to. So we've lost our bullish above line. We did talk about just a minute ago how this looked like it was in a downtrend, remember? And this is playing out. So this would have saved you some money as well. As soon as you saw it, well, I mean, you would have been out right here because of the MACD, right? So you saved a lot of money already. What you want to be looking for now is a double bottom. It could come back down to support one more time. And even if that happened, I think it would probably create a channel of some sort. I don't know, maybe. Early on, it's really hard to find these things. You're guessing at that point. Use your MACD, use the trench bot, use looking at Twitter, use smart money, make sure smart money is still in the play. These are the things that you want to keep checking. I mean, typically the high conviction plays, the high conviction alerts, smart money does not get out of those really, very quickly usually. So we trust them. We've made a lot of money off these plays already. And it's very consistent, it seems like. But, you're going to have some losses. It's just going to happen. I mean, there may be a bad day where the market's just not doing well, volume's low, and these smart money wallets decide that, hey, there's not enough people buying this token, I'm just going to get out of it. And then that causes more smart money wallets to get out of it as well. Okay, let me just get through the other questions here and let's wrap up because this has been a pretty long video. Okay, that was the live play. Yes, I am recording it, Chris, and I'll upload it. I'll let you know as soon as I get it ready. Haven't yet set up Telegram bot to buy sell alerts. Would it take a long? No, it doesn't take long at all, Epi. I've got a video on that. If you go to, are you still in here? Yeah, okay. Where's that? So go to video content. Can you see this? You can't see this, okay. Hang on. All right, go to video content. And it is somewhere here, right here. So under useful money-making tools, click this bottom one, TradeWiz Auto Buy Sell Telegram Bot for Solana memes. There is a link, if you want to try the one that I use, in this video in the description there's a link for it. And there we go, we're still getting a dump. So here's what you want to watch in real time. I'm glad this is happening. Let's see if these two lines start to curl up as they hit this midline right here. So something like this. If you were to see something like this, where these were first, both curling up at the midline as it gets near support, then that would be a really good buy signal as well. I don't know if it's going to front run it again or not, though. Because like I said, this could be starting to form some kind of, high or low trend where there's a channel that starts going up. But it's just too hard to tell in real time that this is going to happen. So really, you need to wait for your MACD to curl, or at least begin to curl up. What are we on, 1 minute? Yeah. Yeah, so just wait for that curl up to happen. This could be a good one. How did it go? Oh yeah, it went 10 million. Sometimes when they go really hard like this, they need longer consolidation sideways. So I really wouldn't expect this one just to take off regardless. It's probably going to need some sideways time. All right, where am I at? How does the TradeWiz bot deal with multiple buys or rebuys after an auto sell? Well, it does a snapshot of your exact setting. So let's say you just had one setting for 2x or one setting for 10x. It's going to snapshot at the moment that you buy it. So let's say that you've sold everything and you rebought. It can't do an auto rebuy, by the way. It doesn't have a way to do that. You have to do the manual buy. I mean, I take that back. What I'm saying is you can't like set a limit buy order down here on the bot and have it buy it for you while you're not watching. However, if you grab the contract address and then go over to Telegram and paste the contract address in and hit enter, it will auto buy it for you that way. So you still have to do manual work there, but on the auto sell, yes, it will do it automatically. But my point is, let's say you bought down here and you got a 2x, and you got a 2x somewhere in here and you sold everything. You would actually have to auto buy again, or not auto buy, you'd have to buy again manually. And then maybe you bought here, then it would trigger you at another 2x. So it's just snapshotting each buy that you make. Like let's say if you don't sell the whole thing right away, it's still going to do a snapshot on the new buy that you make and sell it at that level in the future. So you bought some here, it did a 2x, you only took out 50%, and maybe you have another buy or sell order up here at another 2x after that. So it'll sell all of it here maybe. But if you bought for the first time here on an additional purchase, then it would only sell 50% on this move, if that makes sense. And then, the next 2x move, it would sell the rest of it. That may not make sense. Hopefully it does. So in this case, would you wait until it goes down to, yeah, definitely, Frank. I mean, if we're looking at this play, like I said, I like to find discount buys. And, well, I mean, you don't even have to worry about it, really. You just watch what MACD does, right? I mean, if it comes down to support, I'm probably buying if MACD is starting to tighten up and starting to curl up. It doesn't have to completely cross just yet. As long as these lines are getting tight and it's at support, I would probably take the chance. But if for some reason it rejected and kept going down on MACD, then I would just get out of it because it would show a lot of weakness. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do see this where there's 26% owned by devs. That's true. I think it might be better if I do this way, so y'all can actually see the questions that I'm answering. Oh, did I enter twice? Okay. Okay, maybe I won't do that. For some reason, my mic wasn't working in that one. So yeah, anyway, 26% owned by devs. Sometimes you will see that, but as long as smart money's in, I think it's not a problem. Who's this? Yeah, Leo, I sold my seeker now. problem is I just had one sold in at nearly 3x. So yeah, I mean, conviction's a big part too, but just build up your wallet over time. You don't have to go huge. I'll always preach consistency and being conservative over taking big risks. And I'll never tell you to be in a token that I'm in. Even if I say I'm buying something, it doesn't mean you have to buy something. It's important that you do what's comfortable for you, and you can build your wallet this way if you apply the things that we're talking about here for sure. Let's see. Last buy sets the snapshot. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I see Leo talking here, so let me just see what he has to say, and then we'll probably wrap up here. Let's see what this one's doing currently. Yeah, so I mean, I kind of got lucky there. I drew a trend line thinking it could hold it, but we still don't know, right? Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is what I'm talking about with the MACD. See how it's kind of tapering? Oh, am I not? Hang on. Trying to remember how to do it again. Oh, here it is. I think it's this one. Okay, let me make sure. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, we're looking at it here. And this trend line did hold, although like I said, I just got lucky. It's hard to find that in real time. But if we're looking at the MACD, just let this guide you right here. Let this be your guide. These little histogram candlesticks are starting to taper towards the midline. And your two lines right here, I know they're hard to see. I don't know if I can make them bigger or not. There we go. So see how these are starting to close the gap a little bit? Like I'll show you another example, how this started. That's a worse example, I guess. Well, I don't really see an example there. Maybe like this, just where the blue starts to get close to the orange. Sometimes you can front run the signal on MACD. It's a little bit more risky. But if you're seeing these taper off, these red candles, while this is starting to taper together, while these two lines are starting to get closer and closer, could mean that a curl is coming up, where it's going to curl up for you. But again, remember on this token, it had a big move up to 10 million, and it could need longer sideways consolidation. It does tend to happen a lot that way, so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this come back down to support, maybe even dip as low as like 1.5 million. So it can definitely happen. Always using the one, well, yeah, I mean, as far as MACD goes, I would say Epi, use it on more than just the 1 minute. Always step up as soon as you can and see what the overall trend looks like. I mean, if the trend looks like it does right now, where it looks down, then maybe you just want to stay out of this one for a while and see how it plays out. See if you can get a cheaper price down here. Yeah, Leo said conviction is the way to earn big, so I would be happy if you would have more conviction calls. We dismissed them because they were too big. Well, yeah, I mean, I do dismiss things like A16Z, SPX 6900, and the reason for that is you can't make many multiples out of those anymore. However, that's exactly what the long-term plays are for. So if we go to Discord, remember, just, even if you like to play memes, doesn't mean that you can't play the long-term plays too. Is this even showing? Okay. So long-term plays, I think everybody should have the majority of their portfolio in these plays. So these are high conviction. In fact, it says it right there, high conviction long-term plays. And we got charts. You can zoom out and see where the targets are, where we're hoping price is going to hit by the end of the market. So definitely zoom out on every one of these charts so you can see it. So this one hopefully hits 27. This is IONET. But yeah, I mean, you need to spend some time in here as well. These are high conviction plays. All All right, let me see what other questions. Is that it? Epi says, I generally use the 4 hour and 1 hour, but I don't trade these higher risk plays currently. Yeah, I mean, the only way you're going to be able to look at a 1 hour or a 4 hour chart on something like these new trades is if they end up being a long-term winner, like Seeker, for example, here, even though it's still pretty new. Can we look at a 1 hour? Yeah, even on the 1 hour, the MACD is not showing up yet because this one just showed up yesterday. But on the 15-minute, you can still see what it's doing, and we could see that this was a downtrend happening in real time. We could have seen that, even though you would have gotten out later. This is why it's really important to jump around to low time frame, high time frame. High time frame is going to show you the trend. Low time frame is going to get you better entries and exits. Because remember, high time frame does lag. So you don't want to spend all your time in the high time frame. And yeah, I mean, regarding the higher conviction plays, I mean, you're getting them. If we go back here to Discord, number one, if you're wanting to hold till the end of the market cycle, which we don't know if it'll be March, April, or if it could be October of this year, this is where you want to live in these plays. If you're just wanting to hold long term, you don't have much time to look at this stuff. But if you're wanting to trade high conviction short term plays, then it's right here. I mean, that's why we call it the high conviction alerts. We've made so many, 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x, 100x. I mean, there's all kind of plays that we made money on. There's going to be ones that aren't so great, but we are looking at maybe a 30 to 50% win rate, which is kind of unheard of. I mean, most groups don't make these kind of consistent wins. So on top of that, they don't teach you, and I'm not trying to compare us to anybody else. I'm just saying you've got more tools being in this group than you do with other groups. We're learning how to use MACD the correct way. We're learning how to jump around to different time frames. We're learning how to use a fib line to tell if a token's going to come down to support where we can buy cheaper and lower our risk. And that's what all this is about, is keeping your risk low and letting your winners run, or maybe if you're a short-term trader, just take your 2x, 3x and build your portfolio slowly and don't be greedy about it. So you have to make those decisions what type of trader you want to be. Whatever, feels comfortable to you, I guess is the best way. And yeah, I get it, Leo. I'm definitely not berating anybody. I just want you to understand, and everybody to understand, why we talk about these things, and really what the difference is between these short-term trades, which I'm even calling like a 10-day trade a short-term trade, versus holding for like 3 months, for these long-term trades up here, long-term plays. So you can definitely play both of them, and they're both high conviction. It's just they're high conviction in a different way, short-term versus long-term. Yeah, CA Alert Bot, we're still working on that one. It's going to get you in, so CA Alert Bot actually found some that were 100x, 200x plays, but they're harder to find. It's a little bit tougher to find those. You're going to get more spam in this channel for the CA Alert Bot. We are working on setting it up to where we can combine social, like Moni X socials, like down here, these curated X accounts that are good followers, like they're alpha hunter type people. We're going to combine that with smart money, and that's what this channel will be about. I mean, there's already good plays in here, and you are going to see some overlap between high conviction and the CA Alert Bot. I mean, look right here. You've got top DGen wallets jumping in, so that's our smart wallets that we've curated, and you've got Moni X Smart Alpha jumping in. So these are 3 different good alpha finder type X accounts that we track through Moni, and you can click on any of these and see who it is that that actually followed the play. It's got 36 smart followers, so that tells you that not only is there a lot of conviction for our X smart followers, but there's a lot of conviction for our, we were talking about the DGen wallets, the people that get in early, that actually put money in. So these people got in 4 hours ago at 11:12, and if we look at the chart for this one, what is it, Pareto? Oh yeah, we've already got that up, don't we? 11:12. They got in about right here near the bottom. Yeah, exactly here actually. So our wallets did a very good job. Our curated wallets did a good job of buying the dip. And now you're getting even more conviction because you're seeing more and more of the smart followers 26 minutes ago. And let's just see. I can actually pull up, hang on one second, because I want to show you this as well. I need to pull up their Pareto, where did it go? So I'm going to look up on Moni. Well, actually, it'll show us right here. So there's 36 smarts. And here's some of the ones that I follow for us. So this is very high conviction. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to be a 100x play, but this is the type of things that you need to see early on for a play that's brand new to tell you that it has the opportunity to do something like that. So we'll see what it does, but maybe this is one that you would consider more higher conviction. So it went 5 million. Yeah, I mean, just if you want to hold this one longer term, it may make it. It may do a really big move. Okay, what's SBR target? I actually don't have an SBR target. I just, well, you know what? Did we? No, that's not in long-term plays. Okay. I mean, if I was going to put a target on it, I would say this. You can always drag your fib from top to bottom, and then you want to look at like your 1618 maybe. So 135 million market cap would be the first target, I would suspect. And then there's a possibility it could hit like 200 million market cap. I mean, there are some like crazy numbers it can do still, even they do hit some of these numbers up here as well. It just depends on how bullish the market is or how long it goes. So there is a chance it could hit 350 million market cap. So anywhere from maybe 150 to 350. It's just hard to know, where it's going to hit. That would be my best guess, though, just using fibs. Okay, well, let's wrap it up here. This actually went on a little bit longer than I wanted it to, and I know I jumped around a lot. I'll try to be more structured, but I just do things off the cuff. I don't like to edit a bunch of stuff. So let me know if there was something that wasn't clear that you want to see in the next video. Or, I mean, this video is just for y'all. I'm not going to make it public. But if there's something that you want to see that wasn't explained very well or you didn't really understand clearly, just let me know, and we'll go over it some more. Yeah, Leo, I'll definitely post the recording as soon as it processes. It has been recording, by the way. So you'll get to see it all from the very beginning. Even when I was here by myself, I was in here talking to myself for a while. Yeah, thanks, Epi. I'm glad it was clear. Okay, well, y'all have the good rest of your day. It's the weekend. Try to enjoy yourself. I'll probably go out and ride my bike today or something, just to enjoy the weather before it gets cold again. But make sure you handle your physical health, your mental health. There's plenty of time to make money. Money is just paper. It doesn't matter. I know you got bills out there to pay, but everything will work out the way it's supposed to work out, right? God's in control of all of this. Okay, y'all have a good weekend too. Thank you.